The rain hammered against the windows of the high-rise office tower in Chicago like it was trying to break in. Sophia Bennett stood in the lobby at 2:17 a.m., clutching a damp envelope, her coat dripping onto the marble floor. Security had let her up because she said it was urgent, because her voice shook just enough to sound real. She wasn't lying about that part. The elevator opened on the 52nd floor. The hallway was silent except for the hum of the air system. His office door stood ajar, light spilling out like spilled whiskey. She pushed it wider. Alexander Hayes looked up from the desk, sleeves rolled to his elbows, tie loosened. He was 41, sharp-featured, the kind of handsome that came with power and very little mercy. His eyes narrowed when he saw her. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "I know what you did." Her words came out steady, even though her knees wanted to buckle. She set the envelope on his desk. Inside was a single photograph, a grainy shot from a security camera in an underground garage 3 years earlier. A man slumped against a car, blood pooling. Another man, taller, broader, standing over him, gun still in hand. The second man was Alexander. He didn't touch the photo. He just stared at it, then at her. "How did you get this?" "Does it matter? You killed Marcus Reed, your biggest competitor. The merger talks were failing. Everyone knew you wanted his company. You made sure he couldn't stand in your way." His jaw tightened. The muscle there jumped once. "You have no proof that holds in court. I have enough to ruin you. The board will see this, the press, your investors. One call from me and it's over." He leaned back in the chair, studying her like she was a puzzle he hadn't expected. "What do you want, Sophia?" She swallowed. "My sister is dying. Rare leukemia. The treatment isn't covered. The hospital wants $200,000 up front or they stop. I need the money. Wire it tonight. In exchange, this photo disappears. I walk away. You never see me again." He laughed once, short and without humor. "Blackmail, from the quiet little graphic designer in my marketing department. I was never quiet. You just never looked." Silence stretched between them. The rain kept pounding. "Done," he said finally. "But you stay. 1 year. You play the role. My fiancé. Public appearances. Events. Keep the secret. If anyone suspects, if this photo leaks anyway, the deal's off, and I'll make sure you regret it." Her breath caught. "That's not what I asked for." "It's what I'm offering. Take it or leave. Your sister gets the treatment either way. But if you walk out now, I can't guarantee how long the money lasts before questions get asked." She stared at him. This was insane, dangerous. But the alternative was watching her sister fade in a hospital bed while bills piled up. She thought of the chemo sessions, the way Emily's hand trembled when she tried to hold a cup. "Fine," Sophia said. 1 year. He stood, came around way. The desk. Close enough that she smelled his cologne. Something dark, expensive, like cedar and smoke. He held out his hand. "Contract starts now." She took it. His grip was firm, warm. Her palm felt small in his. Something electric passed between them, quick and unwanted. She pulled away first. He watched her go. The door clicked shut behind her. The next morning, Sophia woke in her small Lincoln Park apartment to a text. Car waiting downstairs. 8 a.m. Wear something appropriate. She opened the closet, found the one decent dress she owned, navy, knee-length, nothing flashy. When she stepped outside, a black SUV idled at the curb. The driver held the door. Alexander was already inside, scrolling through his phone. He glanced up, took in the dress, said nothing. The car pulled away. They didn't speak during the ride to his penthouse on Lakeshore Drive. The building was glass and steel, towering over the lake like it owned the view. Inside the elevator, he pressed the top floor. Private. The doors opened directly into the apartment, floor-to-ceiling windows, minimalist furniture, cold, empty. "This is where you'll stay when we're performing," he said. "Separate rooms, but we arrive together, leave together. Sleep in the same bed if photographers are watching from the street." She nodded, throat tight. He showed her the guest suite. King bed. Walk-in closet already stocked with clothes in her size. Tags still on. "You planned this," she said. "I plan everything." That night was their first event. A charity gala at the Art Institute. Black tie, cameras everywhere. He waited in the living room while she dressed. When she stepped out in emerald silk that hugged her curves, his eyes darkened for half a second before the mask slipped back. "You clean up well," he said. "So do you." He offered his arm. She took it. His bicep was hard under the tuxedo sleeve. At the gala, they moved through the crowd like they belonged together. His hand rested low on her back. Possessive. Protective. Every time someone congratulated them on the engagement, he smiled the perfect smile, pulled her closer, kissed her temple like it was habit. No one questioned it. Why would they? Alexander Hayes didn't do things halfway. Later, in the car ride home, silence again. She stared out at the city lights blurring past. "Why did you agree to this?" she asked quietly. "Because I need the merger to go through. Reed's death bought me time. But the board is still skittish. A stable personal. Life quiets them. And the photo? Insurance. You hold it. I hold you." She turned to him. "You murdered a man." His face stayed blank. "I eliminated a problem. That's not the same. Isn't it?" She looked away. Weeks passed. The routine set in. Mornings in his office. She kept her job, but now reported directly to him. Afternoons planning events, evenings at dinners, galas, benefits, always touching, always performing. But sometimes the performance slipped. One night after a long board meeting, he found her in the kitchen of the penthouse, barefoot, making tea. She wore one of his shirts over leggings. It hit mid-thigh. He stopped in the doorway. "You're up late," he said. "Couldn't sleep." He poured himself whiskey. Neat. Took a sip. "Tell me about your sister." She hesitated. "Emily, 28. She was a dancer before the diagnosis. Now she can barely walk some days." He nodded slowly. "The treatment's working?" "So far. Thank you." He set the glass down. "Don't thank me. It's part of the deal." She met his eyes. "Why do you pretend it isn't more?" His jaw tightened. "Because it isn't." But the next day he sent flowers to Emily's hospital room. White lilies. Her favorite. Sophia hadn't told him that. The touches started changing. His hand lingered on her waist longer. His thumb brushed her spine when no one was watching. In elevators, he stood closer than necessary. Once, in a crowded ballroom, someone bumped her and he pulled her against his chest to steady her. She felt his heartbeat. Fast. She hated how much she noticed. One evening in Savannah, they flew down for a weekend retreat with investors. He booked a historic inn near the river. One suite. One bed. "The optics," he explained. She changed in the bathroom. Came out in silk pajamas. He was already in bed, shirtless, reading reports on his tablet. She slid under the covers, careful to stay on her side. He turned off the light. In the dark, his voice came low. "You shiver when you're nervous." "I'm not nervous." Liar. Silence. Then, quieter. "I don't sleep well alone." She turned toward him. Moonlight cut across his face. "Then why do you?" "Because it's safer." She reached out, hesitant, touched his arm. Muscle tensed under her fingers. He caught her wrist. Not hard, just enough. "Don't." "Why?" "Because if you start, I won't stop." Her breath hitched. He released her, rolled away. The next morning he was distant, professional. Back in Chicago he buried himself in work. But she saw the cracks. The way he watched her when he thought she wasn't looking. The way his voice softened when he asked about her day. Then came the night everything shifted. She was in her old apartment packing a few things. Emily wanted a photo from childhood. Alexander insisted on coming. Security! He stood in the doorway while she sorted boxes. A framed picture fell. Glass shattered. He crossed the room in 3 strides, knelt, started picking up pieces. His sleeve rode up. A thin scar circled his wrist. Old. Faded. She touched it without thinking. He froze. What happened? Old mistake. Alexander. He looked at her, really looked. My mother. When I was 12. She couldn't handle the pressure. Pills. I found her. Tried to stop the bleeding with my belt. Too late. Sophia's throat closed. He stood. Don't pity me. I'm not. Then what are you doing? Seeing you. He stepped closer. You see too much. Maybe you need someone who does. His hand cupped her face. Thumb traced her cheekbone. This wasn't supposed to happen. I know. He kissed her then. Slow. Devastating. Like he'd been starving for it. She kissed back. Hands in his hair, body pressing into his. They stumbled to the couch. Clothes came off in pieces. His mouth on her neck, her nails on his back. But he stopped. Pulled back, breathing hard. Not here. Not like this. Why? Because when I take you, I want it to mean something, not desperation. She touched his face. It already does. He rested his forehead against hers. God help me. They didn't sleep together that night, but something broke open between them. After that, the intimacy grew. Not just physical, though the tension simmered constantly. Emotional. He told her about the night he killed Reed. How Reed had threatened to expose a deal that would have destroyed thousands of jobs. How it wasn't planned. How the gun went off in struggle. I didn't want to, he said one night in bed, voice rough. But I did. She held him, said, nothing, just held. He started showing up at her studio space, a tiny rented room where she worked on freelance designs after hours. He'd bring coffee, watch her sketch. Once he laughed, real, surprised, at something she said. She fell. Hard, irrevocably. But the photo still existed, on a drive in her purse, a bomb waiting. Then came the explosion. At a black-tie dinner in New York, a rival CEO, Reed's former partner, cornered her in the hallway. I know what your fiancé did, he whispered. And I have my own copy. Tell Hayes the merger dies unless he steps down. She went cold. Back at the hotel, she told him. His face went blank. Dangerous. I'll handle it. No, we handle it. Together. He looked at her. You still have the photo? Yes. Use it if you have to. She stared. You'd let me destroy you? If it keeps you safe. Tears burned her eyes. The confrontation happened 2 days later. In his office. The rival came. Threats. Alexander stayed calm. Too calm. Sophia walked in. Placed the photo on the desk. The rival laughed. You think one picture scares me? No, she said. But the police might. She'd already made the call. Detectives waited outside. The rival's face changed. Alexander looked at her. Betrayed. Resigned. I love you, she whispered. That's why I have to do this. He closed his eyes, nodded once. The police took him in cuffs. He didn't resist. She watched from the doorway, tears streaming. Weeks later, trial, evidence mounted, witnesses. The rival flipped. For immunity. Alexander pleaded guilty to manslaughter. Self-defense claim partial. Sentence, 7 years. She visited every week. They talked through glass. He looked thinner, tired, but his eyes softened when he saw her. I don't regret it, he said once. Loving you. She pressed her hand to the glass. He matched it. After release, early parole for good behavior, he found her in Charleston. She'd moved south, opened her own design firm. Small, successful. Her work on book covers and branding had taken off. He stood on the porch of her little house near the Battery. Gray at the temples now, scarred, changed. She opened the door. "Hi," he said. "Hi. I served my time. I know. I don't expect forgiveness." She stepped aside. "Come in." Inside, they sat. Quiet. "I never stopped loving you," he said. "I know." She took his hand. "But we start clean. No secrets, no deals, just us." He nodded. Tears in his eyes, the first she'd ever seen. They built slowly. Dates, walks along the water, nights where he cooked and she laughed at his terrible knife skills. He took a job consulting. Quiet, honest. She won a major award for her designs. He was there in the audience, standing, proud. One evening on the porch swing, watching the sunset over the harbor, he knelt. No ring yet, just him. "Marry me," he said. For real this time, no performance. She pulled him up, kissed him slow. Yes. Years later they sat on the same swing, her head on his shoulder, his arm around her. The past wasn't gone, but it no longer owned them. This was no longer a deal. This was their life, real, scarred, and finally theirs.